So why is it so important for us to know who we are, right? Right, it's very important for us as a people to know who we are, because the majority, 99% of our people don't know who we were before we were brought here like this right here in slavery. You see what I'm saying? You see the thing that happened to us as a people? P. Right, this right here caused our people to forget who they were. It caused us to forget our whole culture, all our heritage, our language, the type of food we eat, the type of clothes that we used to wear, the stuff that we dress, traditions, our tradition, the traditions God gave us. So it's important for us to know that, because when we forgot, this how we stay where we at. You know how they say, if you don't know where you been, you don't know where you're going. That's exactly what's going on with us. So why you think our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, are in the conditions that we are? The conditions meaning like the poverty that our people in. You know our people in poverty, like we stay in the hood. Like we go out to Cordova and Collierville, who stay out there? White folk area, white folk, East Indians, and the Asians, and they inhabit the good areas of town, right? But half the folk just came over here, right? Like just came over here. We've been here for hundreds of years. Right. Why is it that we are under the conditions that we are in, but we the smartest people, we the strongest people, the most beautiful people?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? More creative, right? How are we all that? But then guess what? The other nations of people, the white man, the Chinese man, the East Indian man, and women, they capitalize off of our creativity. They capitalize off of our culture, off of the way we do things. And we don't get no benefits from the same things, because it's something in us that God put in us that ain't in them. And I'm finna show you why these things happen to us and only us. First of all, give me the book of Deuteronomy 29:1. Listen to this, sis. What we finna do, we finna reveal to you, Big P. Hold on, you got some shade, step over here. You step over here in the shade. See, I already know. Look, you want water? Hey, get the sister water. So look, check this out, P. All right, Deuteronomy 29:1. We're finna show you something. All right, read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
So what we about to read to you are the words of the covenant. A covenant is an agreement. Like I make a deal with you, we're gonna make a covenant, sign a contract together. That's what that is. That's what covenant means. All right. So God made a covenant with the children of Israel, an agreement with them. Let's read about the agreement that God made with His people, and we're gonna show you why we in these type of conditions, and not only that, how we get out of that stuff, right? Because like, you think this was a good thing to happen to us, slavery? Nah, chains and stuff on our necks, having to work for the white man and all these other people. Nah, that's a bad thing. So what we gonna read about? Deuteronomy 28:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Listen, P.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all His commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee high above all nations of the earth.
So God promised His people, if they listened and did the commandments, what He gonna do? Put them high above all the people on the earth. Above everybody. So that's, now you ain't equal to them, you better than them. That's what God said. Read. Now read 28 and verse 15. Now that's one part of the covenant. That's terms and conditions to every contract. Let's read the other side. Read.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all His commandments and His statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
So God said, look, if you don't do my commandments, curse is gonna come upon you people. Curse you, right? He said, curse shall you be in the city. What part of the city we live in? The hood, the trap. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we call our community, the trap. That's our terminology for our community, the trap. That ain't a good thing. Right, all of that. We inhabit those parts of the city. Black people, Hispanic people, Native Americans, right? Read. Now God said that would happen to His people if they didn't do the commandments. Curse shall you be in the city. Read.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Look at this picture right here, P. At the bottom of it right there. What are our ancestors right here doing? They in the fields, right? What they doing? Take a look at it. What they doing? Picking crops, picking cotton, right? Slavery, right? That's a curse, being in the field like that. That's a curse. God said that would happen to the Israelites.
That's right.
Now, go on to verse 46. Now, what these curses are, God said He gonna curse you, but now this is a reason, right? I asked you about like our people don't know who they are. Watch this. This right here, these things that God said will happen to His people are for a reason. They're gonna be it's gonna be something to stand out. Read.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon be upon thee for a sign?
They, it said, and they shall be upon thee, talking about the curses that God will come on his people. They shall be upon thee for a what?
For a sign.
For a sign. So what's this over there? You know that come, you just read that what? You read that sign. It said, the curse is going to be on the children of Israel for a sign. Read.
And for a wonder.
Something for the children of Israel to wonder about. Read.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon your seed, your children after you forever. So generation to generation, these curses going to be. So why people, our community is ill with generational curses.
Right.
You heard that, right? Let's read some of the generational curses that happened to the Israelites as a sign that would identify them. That's why you can identify the marathon and the Valero and the BP off the signs, right? All right, give me verse 68. Because P, when you look think about the history of our people, right, so-called black folk, right? I'm gonna use this map right here. What happened to us that didn't happen to nobody else in the world? Say that again.
We got took away from our own land.
You said a word though.
We got shipped away, that's what I said?
We got shipped away. Let's read Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Now don't forget what we read. These are the words of the covenant that God made with his people. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the children of Israel were in Egypt before, under the Egyptians. You ever seen the old movie, The 10 Commandments, right?
Yeah.
The children of Israel were slaves to the Egyptians, right? They were in Egypt for 400 years, building brick and building pyramids and stuff for the Egyptians. That's who built that stuff. They slaved. The children of Israel did. So now, God told the children of Israel, okay, after Moses delivered them from Egypt, walked them through the Red Sea, right? They split the water, they walked through the Red Sea on dry land. He said, if you don't do these commandments though, I'm going to send you into Egypt again. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into Egypt again. So if you've been in, how you doing, sis? Bring the daughter over here. If you've been in Egypt or say, let's say incarcerated, you've been in 201 or the penal farm for 15 years and you get back out and somebody say, I'm going to take you back to the penal farm. What that mean?
Someplace you don't want to go.
You going where?
Someplace you don't want to go.
Right back to the same condition you was just in, you just escaped. Right. So God saying, look, if you don't listen to these commandments, I'm going to do what?
Shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Back to that Egypt, slavery, watch. But we're going to show you what it means. Go to the book of Exodus. Is when they were exiting out of Egypt. You familiar with this story, sister? What's your name? Taisha. You familiar with the story of the Israelites being freed from Egypt and the bondage under the Pharaoh? All right, so now, when they were exiting out of Egypt, that's the book of Exodus. So this is what God called Egypt. Read. This is what Egypt means to the Israelites. Read it. Exodus 20 and verse 2. Start at 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of what?
Out of the house of bondage.
So you caught that, right? You caught that. Taisha, you catch it? Egypt is the house of bondage. So it's synonymous with bondage. Bondage is another word for what, Taisha? P.
Somebody holding you down or keeping you
Holding
locked down.
Locked down, right. Those are all good synonyms for another word like this. What's that?
Trap,
What's that?
change,
What's going on in that's changed, but what was the condition of our people when we were in chains? Slavery. The house of slavery. Read. Now go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We breaking down the Bible precept upon precept for y'all to understand the terminology that the Bible used. All right, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The house of bondage, house of slavery again. How?
With ships.
They had just come out of Egypt, but now God said, I will bring you back to the house of slavery. This time, what?
With ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Oh, saying, remember when I told you before?
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You wouldn't see Egypt again, or those Egyptians as slaves again, because he told the children of Israel that in the book of Leviticus. He said, and now it's Exodus 13. He said, look, you ain't gonna see these Egyptians no more again. Meaning you wouldn't be slaves to them ever again. But now, guess what? As generations pass, you're gonna go back into that same condition if you don't keep the commandments. So, read it again from the top.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And there, when you got off the ships, whenever the Israelites got off the ships, that means just like this sign right here. We are looking at this map. When they was here, our people at one point was over here on the west coast of Africa. When you look up the history of the Israelites, in 70 AD, they fled from here, northeast Africa, which is Israel, because Israel is not the Middle East. Where the Middle West at? Where's the Middle North at?
Right.
That's a term that the white man made up to confuse us, to further confuse us on who we really are.
Right.
It said, we fled out of here into the interiors of Africa, and then we settled over here on the west coast. When you look up old maps, it'll say Negro land. It'll say Kingdom of Judah right here in Nigeria, in Ghana. I can show you that. Somebody can pick that up right there. You can Google that map of 1747 of West Africa. You're going to see Negro land and Kingdom of Judah. Judah is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's why our people settled it. Now, God said, you shall be sold unto your enemy. So when we came from the west coast of Africa, or wherever, east coast, northeast Africa, wherever we were, all these areas where the slaves were picked up and brought to, we were brought here. There we were what? Sold unto our enemies. Read it again.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen,
slave men,
and bondwomen,
and slave women. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
Meaning no man shall be able to redeem you or buy you out of that captivity. Because in the law, in the commandments, if an Israelite brother or sister had to work for another, fell down on bad times and had to work for somebody, right, of another nation, then your brother, I say, if you were working for a white woman, right, you were cleaning her house, and I'm like, sis, what you doing working for her? You ain't supposed, you an Israelite, you God's chosen people, you above everybody, you're not supposed to be working for them. Look, how much you owe? I pay your debt off, and now you don't got to do that no more. You mean to buy you out of that. God said that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't be able to be happen. So our people would be, the Israelites would be in that same captivity until they repent, until they begin to keep their end of the bargain, because that's a sign for the Israelites. So
nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is